Mechanical wave, we can divide into two types of wave. The first one is a progressive wave. Okay, and the second one, later we will learn 7.5, is a stationary wave. Okay, so we start with the first one where it involves progressive wave. Actually, this progressive wave you already learned before. Okay, so what is the meaning of progressive wave? Progressive wave meaning that dia boleh jalan, dia boleh bergerak. Okay, wave is the propagations of the disturbance that carries the energy and momentum away from the source disturbance. Okay, so during secondary school, we already learned there are two types of progressive wave. The first one is longitudinal wave. Okay, longitudinal wave meaning that the wave is actually the directions of the motion is actually moving forward. Okay, so for longitudinal wave, our directions of the propagation is compress and expansion. Okay, it's actually parallel with the motion of the wave. Okay, dia adalah bergerak secara parallel with the motion of the wave. Parallel. Okay, if we refer to transverse wave, okay, transverse wave, the directions of the wave is going forward, but the directions of our amplitude here, it is actually going up and going down. Okay, so it's actually directions of the wave is perpendicular to each other. Okay, so this is perpendicular to each other. It's going up and going down. Okay, so these are two types of progressive wave. We have two types of progressive wave. Either is parallel, longitudinal wave, or it moves perpendicular with the motion, transverse wave. Okay, so we continue. Okay, so before we continue, we must know the terms that we use in the progressive wave. Okay, amplitude A, meaning is maximum distance. So what's the unit for amplitude? Usually SI unit we will use amplitude. We will use meter, correct. Wavelength is the distance between two successive particle. Okay, so wavelength meaning that dia mesti adalah two successive particle, and unit we use also in meter. Okay, next one, period. Period is a time taken for a meaning one complete oscillation. One, meaning satu. Okay, one complete oscillation, satu ayunan lengkap. Okay, so unit we will use second. Okay, next one is the wave number. Okay, wave number equation K is equals to 2 pi over lambda over wavelength. Okay, meaning that we want to refer back within 2 pi, how many lambda it will move. So this is the wave number, and because it's 2 pi over lambda, so unit is per meter. Okay, next one is angular velocity, or sometimes we call it angular frequency. Angular velocity or angular frequency. This one you're very familiar. What is the equation for angular velocity? 2 pi f or 2 pi over t, period. Okay, and the unit for angular velocity is radian per second. Okay, so although this is very basic things, but during we answer the questions, you must use the correct unit. Okay, if you answer correct but you don't have unit, or you write the wrong unit, also useless because no mark. Okay, next one, we also have velocity of the wave. Okay, so velocity of the wave, V equals to F lambda Okay, later we will use. Okay, and unit is meter per second. And another one is the velocity of the particle. Okay, and velocity of the particle meaning that the particle is moving up and down. So usually this one is refers to simple harmonic motion. So if the question say V particle, question will mention. So you must use back simple harmonic motion velocity where V equals to omega square root a square minus y square. Okay, usually question will mention particle. Okay, question will mention what is the velocity of the particle. So similar unit we also use meter per second. Okay, so we have two types of wave. The first one is the velocity of the wave. The second one is the velocity of the particle. And this particle will refer back to the simple harmonic motion where the particle is moving up and down. Okay, so this is basic things. Okay, another thing that you need to know is, okay, if this is a sine graph, okay, this is a sine graph where the green color is actually equilibrium line. Where equilibrium, apa maksud equilibrium line? Kosong kan? Equilibrium kan? Kosong lah. So equilibrium line actually we are referring to kosong lah. Y equals to 0 lah. Okay, equilibrium line. Okay, next one is amplitude. You see here we have amplitude. Atas bawah pun ada amplitude. Of course amplitude dia ada positif, dia ada negatif. Okay, so amplitude we are referring to the maximum displacement. Okay, maximum displacement yang paling tinggi dia boleh pergi, paling jauh dia boleh pergi ya. Okay, so this is the amplitude. Okay, wavelength di sini merujuk kepada lambda. Okay, either you ambil lambda, either you ambil sine punya graph, ini adalah satu lambda, ataupun you guna cos punya graph. Okay, kalau cos dia akan jadi macam inilah. This is one lambda. Okay, ini adalah satu lambda. Okay, meaning that daripada you punya crest di sini sampai ke crest di sini, so kita kata dia adalah satu lambda. Okay, yang bawah ini puncak kita panggil truth. Okay, so crest di sini maksudnya dia ada puncak, dia punya puncak paling tinggi, puncak. Okay. Okay, next we will proceed to the equation for progressive wave. So this is the wave that it will move forward. Okay, dia akan bergerak ke depan. Okay, so next one we will continue with the equations. Okay, for progressive wave, okay, the wave that propagate continuously, okay, outward from a source of disturbance. Okay, so it will continuously, it will move upward. Okay, menjauhi. So equation that we will use for progressive wave satu sahaja. And this equation, of course, it will give during exam. Okay, y equals to a sine omega t plus minus kx. Satu equation sahaja. So sila hafal. Kalau tak hafal, at least you know, oh, this is the equation for progressive wave. Okay, you can find through your equation list. Okay, so di sini y equals to a sine omega t. Dulu kita simple harmonic motion, kita kiri kanan. Adakah kita pendulum bergerak? Bergerak tak? Bergerak kiri kanan pergi ke kanan. Ada tak? Simple harmonic motion kita kiri kanan, kita hanya up and down. But for progressive wave, okay, for progressive wave, for example, let's say yang ini, kita punya transverse wave. Dia bukan saja naik turun. At the same time dia naik turun. Tengok saya punya tangan ah. Dia dari sini dia naik turun, tapi dia bukan naik turun di sini. Nah, contoh saya start from here. Dia naik turun, tapi dia naik turun dia jalan. Nampak tak? Dia jalan. Okay, dia bukan saja naik turun, bukan. Okay, so that's why progressive wave it can move. Okay, it will move forward. Okay, dia naik turun, tetapi at the same time the motion of the wave is actually moving away from the disturber. Faham? That's why equation kita, we have y and we have x. You nampak tak? Kita ada y, kita ada x. Okay, y meaning that you punya amplitude y. X meaning that how far dia pergi. Okay, dia y, ini y. Tapi at the same time dia bukan y sahaja, dia juga ada x. Nampak tak? Dia jalan. You understand now? So this is the equation for progressive wave, di mana dia bukan naik turun y sahaja. Kalau simple harmonic motion dia y sahaja, naik turun, naik turun, naik turun, dia jalan tak? Tak jalan. Okay, for progressive wave, y plus x pergi sana. Okay, so A, of course you know. What is the meaning of A? A ialah apa? Amplitude. Okay, and for our syllabus, we only learn sign. Okay, kita hanya belajar sign sahajalah, kita tak ambil cos. Okay, omega t. Omega t. Okay, so omega t here, we know that omega, we can find it through 2 pi f or 2 pi over t. If you want to find omega, you can find 2 pi f or 2 pi t. You can use either one. If you have frequency, you have period, you can find your omega. Okay? Okay, next one is plus minus. Okay, plus minus juga ada maksud. Plus minus, if your equation is positive, meaning that your wave is actually propagate to the left. If negative kx, negative sign, meaning that your wave is actually propagate to the right. So positive, negative kita tahu, oh dia bergerak ke kanan ke, dia bergerak ke kiri. Okay? Okay, next one is k. K, we call it as the wave number. Okay, and as I mentioned just now, k equals to 2 pi over lambda. Okay, so usually when you want to construct equation, biasanya kalau kita nak bina macam simple harmonic motion, when you want to construct equation, you must find out things that I highlight. You must find out what is the amplitude. You must find out what is the omega. You must find out what is the value for wave number k. You mesti cari. Okay, dari mana? Dari you punya graph lah. If let's say, okay, we proceed to the next. Okay, here, this is the questions. This is the partial questions. Okay, they ask you to construct equation for progressive wave from these two graphs. So from these two graphs, apa yang berlainan? Apa yang berlainan di sini? Tengok. Siapa boleh jawab? Ha? Satu sin, satu cos. Apa lagi? Apa yang berlainan? Spot the difference. X-axis apa? Satu graf ialah y versus t. Nampak tak? This is the graph y versus t. The second graph is y versus x. So these two graphs actually give us two different information. Satu ialah y versus t. Satu adalah y versus x. So when if the graph give you y versus t, meaning that one complete cycle, empat ni ialah apa? Period ataupun dia beri kita lambda. Period. If y versus t, ingat y versus t, dia beri kita satu period. So we know that period is equals to 4 seconds. Boleh faham? Macam mana pula dengan y versus x? One complete cycle. Ini sine graph, so saya ambil sini sampai sini sahajalah. Ini one complete cycle. So for one complete cycle, Y versus X graph. Y versus X graph. This is lambda, betul. Ini adalah lambda equals to 3 apa? Meter ke cm? Meter. You must refer back to the unit they give. Sometimes they give you meter, sometimes they give you cm. So dia tak ada satu kata oh mesti 3 meter. Okay, depends on the unit that they give to you. So can you construct equation? Before that, we must write out first the general equations for progressive wave. You kena tulis dulu. Apakah general equation? Ini yang cikgu suruh you hafal lah. Y equals to kelas. Sekali kita read out. Y equals to A sin omega t plus minus kx. This is the general equation. So, apa yang kita perlu isi? Tadi cikgu kata you perlu isi A, you perlu isi omega, you perlu isi K. Okay, so you isilah. A berapa A? A ialah 2, nampak? Both also similar. A ialah 2 cm. Ataupun kita tukar terus kepada meter lah, 0.02 in meter. Okay, sin we copy back. Omega we don't have. How to find omega? T pi, because we have t, correct or not? So we can use 2 pi over t. T ialah 4. So kita salin balik. Okay, plus minus kx. So k is 2 pi over lambda. Lambda kita berapa? Lambda kita berapa kelas? 3. So we copy back. Okay, if the question tambah lagi. Okay, if propagate to the right. Kalau dia tambah lagi satu perkataan to the right. So our plus minus akan jadi apa? Negatif atau positif? Negatif. So kita akan masuk dia jadi negative, because if the question mention it propagates to the right, so positive negative itu determine the directions. Okay, so this is the general equations that we construct from these two graphs. Okay, di mana kita perlu isi amplitude, kita perlu isi angular velocity, kita perlu isi wave number. Ini you perlu isi. Yang lain itu nanti. Okay, nanti lain itu mungkin dia kata, okay, when t equals to 1 second, x equals to 1 cm, what is the value for y? Okay, nanti itu kalau dia beri kita condition. Okay, boleh? Susah tak? Tak susah. Satu equation sahaja, satu sahaja. Ingat, progressive wave satu sahaja. Okay, satu sahaja. Cuma you perlu tahu apa itu A, apa itu omega, apa itu K. Dari mana you dapat omega, dari mana you dapat K. Okay, so soalan tutorial pun akan tanya you macam ini, nak cari omega, nak cari K, nak cari period, nak cari wavelength, cari amplitude, semua ini sahaja. Okay, so in finish we will proceed to the second part, superpositions of the wave, 7.5. Okay, 7.5 superpositions of the wave, we call it as a standing wave. Dia berdiri, ataupun stationary wave di mana dia tak bergerak. Okay, stationary wave or standing wave, either one. Okay, depends on the questions. Okay, standing maksudnya dia berdiri lah. Dia bukan lari ya, dia berdiri. Ataupun stationary wave meaning that dia bergerak, dia stop dekat sana. Okay, dia tak bergerak. Okay, so how we produce the standing wave or stationary wave when we combine? Okay, so standing wave is the resultant displacement. Kita tambahkan dua wave at a point. Okay, it's the sum of the individual displacement of these two waves. Okay, dulu you pernah belajar tak? Constructive interference dengan destructive interference. Kita belajar interference, masih ingat secondary school? Okay, so masih ingat kalau kita kata yang ini ya, ini A, amplitude ini A. Nanti kita combine, kita akan dapat 2A, betul tak? X tambah Y, kita dapat Z. Okey, kalau negatif A bawah tambah dengan bawah negatif A, kita akan dapat negatif 2A. Betul? So this one we call it constructive interference. Kalau BM kita panggil apa? Interference yang membina. Betul? Dulu saya belajar BM. Okay, tapi semasa mengajar jadi English pula. Dulu kami punya zaman cikgu BM. So saya tahu sikit-sikit terms lah. Okay, interference yang membina. Okay, next one. If wave X is positive A, but wave Y is negative A. Positive A tambah negative A, you akan dapat apa? Kosong. Ataupun negative A tambah positive A, kosong juga. Okay, so macam mana pun you akan dapat destructive interference ataupun interference memusnah. Betul? Memusnah, hilang, memusnah. Okay, satu ialah constructive, membina, destructive, memusnah. Okay, so when we combine 2A plus A, we will get 2A. When we combine A plus negative A, we will get nothing. So this, we will apply it for our standing wave. Iaitu kita ada dua wave, satu dari kiri, satu dari kanan. So when we combine, okay, for example, this one is propagate to the right, and another wave, cikgu guna merah. Okay, another wave is propagate from right to left. Okay, so it will form standing wave. This one we will do experiment. Eksperimen yang terakhir, eksperimen 6. So you akan nampak bentuk, okay, bentuk dia you akan nampak, okay. Where we need to combine, for example, okay, nanti cikgu tulis kat sini, okay. Maybe you can find a space, okay. So Y1 is equals to A sin omega t plus kx. Another wave is propagate, okay, in opposite direction. So it's A sin omega t, opposite become negative kx. So if you combine these two, okay, we will get a standing wave where Y for standing wave is equals to Y1 plus Y2. So if you combine, okay, kalau kita combine A sin omega t plus kx plus A sin, tak cukup tempat lah, omega t, just now plus, so now is minus, because we combine satu dari kiri, satu dari kanan. So if we factorize out, okay, we will get E2A cos kx sin omega t. Okay, kalau you nak tengok lebih detail, sila rujuk buku rujukan lah. Ini sikit tentang matematik lah. Matematik macam ini lah. You matematik A sin A plus B plus A sin A minus B. So you kena kembangkan A sin A plus B panggil apa? You expand, you dapat apa? Sin apa? Sin A cos B, betul? Plus saya sudah lupa. Nanti ya, fikir saya. Plus cos plus sin B cos A plus sin B cos A, betul? Tak pasti ya. Plus A sin A, ini macam ajar matematik pula. Ini sin A minus B is sin A cos B. Kerana dia tolak, so kita tolak sin B cos A. Nampak? So you nampak ini positive sign, ini negative sign, kita potong. You tak perlu tulis lah, you boleh rujuk buku. Saya nak proof bagi you nampak saja. You don't need to copy lah. Ini tak akan tanya. Okay, derivation tak tanya, cuma saya nak beritahu macam mana you boleh equation datang. So finally we will get, nampak tak ini? Nanti ya saya tengok yang pen. Okay. So you nampak tak ini? Tambah ini you akan dapat 2. Correct tak? Okay, so you will get, finally we will get 2A sin A cos B. Apa itu A tadi? Tadi kita ambil A ialah apa? A ialah omega T kan? So it's sin omega T cos B. B tadi kita ialah KX. Nampak? That's why the general equation for standing wave hanya kita terus guna 2A cos KX sin omega T. Okay? Can you understand now? Derivation actually not important, but I just want to prove for you. Okay, y from where you get y1 plus y2 become 2A. Okay, why become 2A? Because 2A, A plus A, we get 2A. Correct now? A plus A, we get 2A. Okay, where 2A is actually the amplitude. Okay, 2A is our amplitude. Nak tulis kat mana? Okay, I circle Okay, I circle. 2A is actually amplitude. Because A plus A, you will get 2A. Okay, next one is we have another amplitude 2A cos KX. 2A cos KX is actually the amplitude of our standing wave. Because it involves X. Okay, it involves X, where we want to know at X equals to 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm, 4 cm, what is the amplitude at that moment. Okay, at that moment. Or we can say, we can say the amplitude of the particle. Ini boleh senang sikit, of the particle. Hilang. Of the particle. Amplitude of the particle. Of the particle. Okay, of the particle. Amplitude of the particle. Okay, so for example, example cikgu zoom balik ya. Example. When we say amplitude, of course this is the amplitude. Ini ialah 2A, correct or not? But when we want to say, okay, because if let's say this is the graph, and we want to find, okay, when X equals to 3 cm, so ini maybe ini 1 cm, 2 cm, 3 cm, 4 cm, 5 cm, 6 cm, 7 cm. Okay, when our 7, 8, 9. Okay, want to know when X equals to 9 cm, what is our amplitude? So we know that, okay, at that moment particle is at maximum. Okay, so this is 2A cos KX is actually the amplitude of the particle. Kita nak tahu ketika itu dia di atas ke bawah ke tepi ke, di mana dia berada. Tetapi 2A is the maximum. This is, we know that when we combine A plus A, we will get 2A. Okay, 2A cos KX is what? Where is a particle? Amplitude ke, di bawah ke, di tepi ke, because it's moving. Okay, I mean it's a different position. So we want to find at that moment when X equals to 1 cm, 2 cm, what is the value of the amplitude of the particle. Okay, so ini equation for standing wave. Satu lagi kita nak cari Okay, kita nak cari anti-knots and knots. Ini pernah belajar tak? Apa itu anti-knots? Anti-knot, you nampak ada A? Apa maksud A? A maksudnya ada. Kerana exam, usually we will confuse. Anti-knot ialah ada ke tak ada? Because anti-knot and knot, sometimes we will confuse. So, how to memorize? You nampak anti-knot is ada. Apa maksud ada? Ada di sinilah, maximum. Nampak tak? A, ada. Senang untuk ingat. Okay, knots ialah apa? Knots ialah bukan tak ada. N-O, no. Apa maksud no? Tak ada. No. So, at which point we will get no? Di sinilah kosong. Ini tempat equilibrium line di sini kita dapat N, kosong. Okay, nampak tak? Ini kosong, kosong. So, ingat ada anti-knot. Okay, where anti-knots meaning that your amplitude at that moment must equal to 1. K, cos kx is 1, maximum. Because cos, any value maximum only 1. Betul tak? Matematik. Okay? If no, knots, your kx must equal to 0. Okay? Kita kena buat soalan baru you faham. Kalau tak saya anti-knot pun you pun tak tahu saya cakap apa. Okay, we go to exercise di belakang. Okay, kita pergi belakang exercise. Exercise di belakang. Hari ini you selamat tau. Kenapa you selamat? Kenapa you selamat, you tahu tak? Tak mau attendance. So cikgu tak akan panggil you, so you selamat. Tapi nak panggil saya, nak suruh saya panggil. Panggil aja. Itu yang tudung putih, pakai spek. Macam ini. Okay, come. Ataupun panggil kelas saya saja. Panggil cikgu yang kelas cukup banyak, cikgu ada tutorial. Okay, come. We continue. Okay, figure shows how, nampak tak? Okay. Figure shows how the displacement x varies with the time. Ini senang. Okay, ini you boleh buat. Ini you boleh buat kan? So saya skip boleh? Jawapan di bawah. Okay, jawapan di bawah. You boleh sendiri cari. Okay. Saya akan pergi ke bawah. Number 2. Tak sama. Tak sama kan? Nanti saya ambil kertas salah. Dapat saya tulis di Okay, so here we have, adakah equation ini diberi 8 sin sama tak? Equal. Okay, so 8 sin 3 over 5 pi t plus 1 over 3 pi x. This is the first equation. And the second equation is 8 sin 3 over 5 pi t negative 1 over 3 pi x.